I do like to sort of fuse the old with new, antiques with modern, something that's a little bit more serious. You know, I'll love to take like an old, you know, a floral sort of very serious, sophisticated fabric and pair it with just something that's like a spiky, you know, light fixture. So.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Design, Build, Sell. We're your hosts,
Sarah Bennett,
Alicia Dobby,
and RB Gallup.
Oh, yep, there you are.
This is a good start.
Yeah. You want me to just jump in after that?
Yeah, why not?
All right. We are here with our guest speaker, Aston Moody, with Aston Moody Interiors. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Aston, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you began your design career.
All right, cool. So I have been decorating for myself, working for myself, and started my decorating company about 5 years ago. Originally, I'm from Walterboro, which is like a small town down near, if you've driven to Edisto or Beaufort, it's kind of right there off the interstate. Went to USC, so go Gamecocks.
Yes.
I majored in teaching, essentially. So I came about this like totally a roundabout way to get to decorating. Had no idea that I really wanted to be a decorator. You know, I was listening to, I think it was either something you posted or what you said in your podcast that said you always knew you wanted to go into design. And man, I would have saved like a lot of trouble and money if I had known that I wanted to go into design, because I did not. And looking back on it, you know, I think about, because I have looked back on it, I'm like, well, how did I not know? I mean, I love it so much. Like, how did I not know that I would love it this much, you know, back when I was in college? And I really thought then that I wanted to go into event planning. I wanted to be a wedding planner. Y'all remember the Jennifer Lopez movie with The Wedding Planner? Yes, I was all about that. And literally got bridal magazines like from the time I was in high school, just because I loved like the event of it all. And so that's like my only clue that I really did love, like the aesthetics of something and putting something together, and having like that end creation. But didn't get the clue early enough. So went to USC. I majored in a couple different things before I finally made it to English. And then I got a master's in education. So I taught high school English at Irmo High School for 12 years. Just because of a variety of things, I decided to leave teaching. And I had said to my husband over and over, like, oh, I kind of don't really want to teach anymore, but I'm a personality that needs to work. And so I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do? I mean, I can't think of any other skill sets that I have. Like, should I be a bank teller? Like, what? And I probably wouldn't do a good job at being a bank teller. Like, what should I do? And it came upon me this whole career did very randomly. I had a friend who needed some help with her house, and she said, I'll help you, because I said, gosh, you know, your clothes always look so cute and you're always saying they're from TJ Maxx. Like, I need some help bargain shopping, and we'll swap skill sets. So I went and just kind of redid some stuff for her at her house, really just rearranged things, and word of mouth just spread, which is kind of often how it is. And went from there. It's a funny story on that though. She and I, so we swapped, you know, she helped me with some stuff and I helped her, and word of mouth kind of spread. And I had already gone back to part-time teaching. So I'm teaching every other day and decorating for friends. And the decorating for friends thing was going pretty well. You know, I was having fun with it. I was like, yeah, I'm kind of decent at this. Like, shocking, because I really just didn't know that I would be. And I ended up putting flyers in all the mailboxes in my neighborhood. I mean, y'all, we're talking like small time here. Paper flyers around all the mailboxes in my neighborhood, saying like, you know, I'm decorating. This is who I am. I'm hosting something for Christmas. Would love for you to come by, see my house, chat with me, and we could talk about, you know, your project.
That takes a lot of courage, I think.
It took a lot of courage, and sounded super awesome. So set everything up. My husband took my kids out for dinner or whatever, and like an hour and a half had rolled by and no one had come.
Oh man.
So I am throwing like a Bridget Jones pity party and having my wine and singing like all by myself out loud. I call my mom and I'm like basically close to tears, and the doorbell rings and I was like, all right, well, somebody came, thank God. I mean, I had put like wine glasses in the sink to make it look like someone had been there. So this woman comes over and she's like, hey, I'm actually a contractor and your neighbor. And I would never have met her. I mean, she lived on a different road. Like our kids weren't the same age. And her name's Pam Crane. And so she said, let's chat for a little while. And at the end of the night, she said, well, I'm going to give you a call in the new year. I'd love for you. I'm looking for somebody to come on and help me some with the design side of things. I'll give you a call. And I'm like, she's probably not going to give me a call. Like, you know, people say nice things. It's the holidays. We'll see. That's weeks away. So she did. And and I mean, that's really how I got my start, was that I was able to leave teaching because she did provide a salary for a few months that I could count on when I left teaching. And then once that got going and my jobs for decorating got going, I was able to, she kind of went a different path. And it made more sense for me to just continue with the decorating for myself.
I love how you took that leap of faith and having that party, like really that's a really smart thing to do. Number one, very unique, very well thought through. But, you know, I love that it only takes one. And that's why I tell people all the time, you can have so many leads, you have so many opportunities, so many letters that you send out. It only takes one person.
Really does. It only takes one.
Yeah.
And I struggle to say no to things even to this day, because I'm like, this might not be the right fit, but her cousin might be the right fit. Like you never know how it's gonna trickle down or away from you and bring you more business, even if it's, you know, initially seems off.
Right? Absolutely. I was thinking about just like when I was first starting out, some of the ideas I tried to do to drum up business. And I even one time partnered with a local lender that's a good friend of mine. And we used my home church to try to do this like first time home buyer seminar, because our church is downtown and we have a lot of young couples and this whole like engagement thing. So we were like, oh, we are going to get a ton of people that want to come to this. Look at us. We're both young. Like people are going to love it. And no one signed up. And it was like a month, like it was, you know, I mean, the church, like, you know, advertised everything and nobody signed up. And I was so upset, but I mean, I didn't let it stop me.
Right.
But you know, it's, you know, again, just taking that leap of faith.
And that probably, you know, you were like, okay, well, that didn't pan out quite how I thought it would. So I'll do this and I'll do it slightly differently or whatever. I mean, we definitely have to learn from stuff like that. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm glad I went out on a limb there, but it was a little scary when no one was ringing the doorbell, y'all. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
And I'll be happy to say about 3 or 4 more people showed up after Pam. So it wasn't a total loss, guys. It wasn't as embarrassing as it seemed in the beginning. So.
Gotcha. Good.
Sometimes you got to take that first step, and that's the hardest, and then be consistent with what you're doing and just stay at it. I was listening to a Dave Ramsey book the other day, and he was talking about, you know, you've heard the principle of a 15-year overnight success.
Right.
And it's like everyone sees these people blow up and they say, oh man, you've an overnight success. Right. What you don't often see is the drive to get there.
That's right. All the things that went into it before that, for sure. Yeah, the hustle of it all. I was actually saying that to someone yesterday. We were talking about anything that sort of has an Instagram front as its storefront almost seems like an easy job or one that like you don't have to put a whole lot of effort into. And, I feel like I'm hustling 24/7 to try to balance it all, which we all are. That's nothing special, but yeah, it's a hustle.
That's what separates the doers from the not, you know, like you just got to deal with some salespeople right now. I want to buy what they are trying to sell. 3 of them will not respond to my emails after coming into the office. They spent time to meet with me to go over everything. Right. And I'm like, all they have to do is take a little bit more effort. Right.
You're like, why am I putting forth more effort than you are? You're supposed to be selling it to me.
So you teach for a long time.
I did. I taught.
That's a shift.
She taught for a long time.
Oh gosh.
I'm sorry. He didn't finish college.
And ironically, I'm the English teacher over here. No, I'm just kidding. I taught.
beat on me.
She gonna have fun with that?
Oh yeah.
I taught high school English for 12 years, and all 12 years at Irmo High School. So I, am not from this area, but I have lived here for about 15 or 16 years, and then I guess college included, so maybe 20 years now. But Alicia and I were talking about that earlier. It is interesting to try to carve your way into the market when you're not from the area. So, again, that just goes back to kind of hustling and coming up with oddly, sometimes getting way outside of my comfort zone with the flyers and the mailboxes and just any way that I can to get my name out there, because this is such a word of mouth, that and social media. I mean, those are the two main things.
That's how we get our business.
Yeah.
You have to be a little shameless, a little self-promoting.
Definitely.
I remember when stories, or first started doing stories, I was like, what am I doing? I've seen a couple people do it, but flipping that camera around and talking, it's this is so silly.
Right.
I feel like a 12-year-old girl. What am I doing?
Right.
But then it pays off and it's worth it. You know?
It does. This just came back to me, but I sold Beauty Counter for a little while during that transition from teaching to having a decent enough, a large enough clientele. And that was a good way to kind of dip my feet in the water of selling myself, because obviously it's like direct marketing and you have to do a lot of that too. And so just forcing myself to get in front of that camera, which was something that doesn't come naturally to me. I mean, for most people, it doesn't come naturally to sell yourself, like you just said, to sort of brag about your abilities or whatever.
Yeah.
So that can be kind of tough.
Yeah. I was telling Aston earlier that I was dubbing her the Queen of Color.
Oh yeah,
because of her design style.
I love that. I might steal it. I was
use it. It's so.
I'm struggling to come up with what my design aesthetic is in general and a way to describe it. So Queen of Color is kind of a
Queen of Color.
I like that.
Yeah. So how do you feel like you landed upon your style?
So when I was saying to you guys that this is a skill I didn't really know I had, I remember literally where I was sitting the night I discovered Pinterest, and I was very late to the game. I remember texting 10 people, and they were like, yeah, we've been on Pinterest for 6 months. I don't know where you've been. And probably also were not that excited about it, but it thoroughly excited me because it was like pouring through those wedding magazines all that time ago. It's like design magazines at your fingertips. This is before House, or maybe around the same time. But I mean, I just couldn't get enough of it. I
use Pinterest every day for clients. You're talking about something like this. And they're like, yes. I'm like, it's such a great tool.
And I didn't really know what my design aesthetic was, I don't think, at the time. Because I came across Pinterest way before I started decorating for anyone. So that was the way that you pour over. I was just obsessed with it. It was, compulsive almost. You pour over so many pictures that eventually you are able to look through them and you can see your own style. It's just what you were drawn to over and over again.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think kind of the way that I came across it was just, pouring over that and trying different things in my house. I look back at some of the things we did, bless my little heart, when we first moved into our house, and I painted the kitchen like an apple green. And it was a very tragic shade of apple green, and we left it there for a really long time. But looking back on it, I loved color, and it was like my attempt to do color. I didn't nail it, and I don't think I did it in a good, solid fashion. But this has been honing my craft and honing my style, because I didn't grow up knowing this, and I didn't go to school for it. It's a big part of, figuring this out as I go.
Yeah. The more you do it, the more you kind of gravitate towards certain styles.
Right.
I mean, I've noticed that too. It's kind of like, well, I guess I do like this a little bit more. It just comes easier.
It comes way easier. Yeah. It's like, I know you were saying that in your, in one of your podcasts as well, that we can do everything. I really do think we can. It just, if I had to do a really monochromatic neutral palette, which is also beautiful, I would be very clueless. I would, it wouldn't ever feel done to me.
Right.
And I wouldn't feel confident about it. I think that's part of it.
Yes.
I would have to look to someone else who does it often and say, is this good? Like, is this right? Whereas when you're dealing in your comfort zone, you just, there's a gut feeling when it's done and it's like the right elements, you just know.
For sure.
Yeah. But yeah, so I feel like Pinterest and Houzz and HGTV and all that kind of helped me figure out what my style is. And as you were talking about the queen of color, anyone who is out there, if you look me up on Instagram, it's Aston Moody at Aston Moody Interiors, and you will definitely see a lot of color.
Yes.
I think that's really fun for us to compare styles and stuff, and even for me to be in your beautiful, beautiful home. It's definitely a different style than where my talents lie, but I have so much respect for it. It's beautiful.
I was going to say, I love your Instagram, and I love anytime I see, decor and design like that is filled with color and texture. I love looking at it. It terrifies me, but I love looking at it.
Well, it probably terrifies you for the right reasons, because someone said to me probably last week, just, I love it, but I'm worried that I will grow out of it really quickly or change my mind. And then it's not like an easy thing to change. And that's very true. I do feel like, I don't appeal to a huge part of the market necessarily. I think everyone can respect different styles, but, I think there's a growing market out there for color.
Yeah.
I think it's something that's kind of maybe coming in or back, or
I agree,
gaining popularity, but which I'm looking forward to and hopeful that continues. But definitely, I would say I probably appeal to like sort of a niche market.
I had someone the other day on Gallup Design Build's page say something about all your stuff is black and white, because I did a post about black and white, and it's not. I just really like black and white, so I'm the one who chooses what we post.
And you're drawn to it. No, it just came naturally to you.
Right. So I was like, well, I'm going to post a lot of things that aren't black and white now.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on that's not black and white.
Oh, I know.
So we'll throw those out there.
Yeah, but it's funny. I had really no idea I was doing it.
Right.
I just like it.
You were just drawn to it.
Yep.
It was just kind of what naturally caught your eye, and you compile, like just what I was saying with Pinterest, like what you compiled, because it's what you love. Same.
I was say I got to tour a house probably within the past year, and he was this clothier for a like luxury clothing company here, and it was very like eclectic and just so cool with all these deep, dark, bold colors everywhere and patterns. I was like, man, this is a cool house. Yeah. But then I was like, I could never put this in mine. I would never know what I'm doing. Like, it would just look like a child took a bunch of different stuff and just threw it in a room. So I think it's really cool when you can pull all that stuff together. I think it takes a very special eye to be able to do that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got that talent to be like, here's a pattern and another pattern with a color and another color, and it looks so good together.
Thank you. Y'all had asked me what would I consider my design aesthetic to be, and I made a little list of words because I'm like, this is the question of the year, because I have toyed with like my catchphrase on Instagram, and I've just built a website last year and trying to figure out what sort of the tagline should be for that, and y'all, I can't figure it out.
It's Queen of Color.
Queen of Color's good.
I really do like. I like Queen of Color.
I can help you with a mission statement. I don't know about a tagline.
Right.
Well, we have a
I'm
good
more
one.
like
Actually,
you.
We do have a good one.
I'm a lady of many words, so I can do my mission statement. It's that quick little quip where I'm like,
I'm telling you, Queen of Color, you need to,
I love that.
That's a good one.
I do tend to gravitate towards like, because I was really thinking, y'all ask good questions. And so it's like, I'm really thinking about, it helped me kind of think through, well, what really is a base usually for most of my decorating. And I would say that usually the base lies somewhere in traditional. I think when I have a client who has a more traditional home, my talents and abilities flow pretty naturally. If it's a more modern home, kind of more like if you were to build this exact same home and then ask me to come in and put a lot of color in it, I think I would lean more towards like a boho vibe with the color. Whereas I think I naturally gravitate more towards like traditional glam. I would kind of say traditional with a twist, or timeless plus trend. A friend recently, we had the conversation of how we would, it was three different designers, and how we would describe each of us to someone else. And she said, "You're kind of glam." And I was like,
"You're like, am I?"
Yeah, I'm like, I don't glam feels very like, I don't know. I couldn't put my finger on it. But then I look back through all my pictures and I'm like, she nailed it. Like that's kind of, you know, that is kind of what my vibe is. It's kind of, you know, I try to do a sophisticated glam, but it is kind of like that. And also funky and eclectic and fun.
I've got your tagline.
What is it?
Glamour in color.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I mean,
look at it. Write that down too.
I like that. I know we got some pencils. Somebody with a good memory. We are recording, so I guess we'll have that. We'll have that.
We'll remember that
to go back and look at.
Get me out of here. This guy knows nothing.
No,
he just likes black and white.
I'm serious.
She's writing down.
I'm
Do not
serious.
take calls from RB.
No, but I think eclectic comes to mind when I think like obviously the color, but like eclectic, because when I think of eclectic, it's just taking like a lot of fun, unique pieces and like putting them together where it makes sense.
Right. Yeah. I do like to sort of fuse the old with new, antiques with modern, something that's a little bit more serious. You know, I'll love to take like an old, you know, a floral sort of very serious, sophisticated fabric and pair it with just something that's like a spiky, you know, light fixture. So just go kind of
something delicate.
That's right. Something delicate with
edge.
Something more edgy.
It's very really rock and roll.
Yeah.
It's
very bold, very
does
vibrant.
End up having sort of a rock and roll feel to it a little bit. Yeah.
What kind of music do you like?
Oh gosh, y'all.
I just asked random questions.
I'm so lame. I wish my husband were here. He'd be laughing in the corner. He has the best taste in music. He, like anybody you name from any decade, he can like, blah, blah, blah. Y'all, I'm like pop from the 90s.
That's okay. That's
love me some 90s.
Yes. Sometimes
I have
pop
terrible
is where it's
taste in music. That and country and a little bit of rock and roll maybe.
That's not as rock and roll.
Yeah. No, I don't. I'm not. Clearly, I'm not getting my inspiration from music, I guess, because no. I actually just did a music room for my best friend, and she has great taste in music, and she's been to a lot of fun concerts, and so it's kind of like this room, like a ladies' lounge, and we have a place for her record player, and so I have respect for people who have good taste in music. I can decorate for them. I'm just not one of them.
Cool.
So has social media helped to expand your business and get you new referrals?
Yeah, it has. It has. I call social media like the necessary evil. And anybody whose business sort of relies on it, they understand. Because it's sort of the all-consuming monster that's always moving forward, and you have to stay on.
You have to keep up with it.
Yeah, you do. You have to keep up with it.
It's a full-time job.
It is a full-time job. It's a full-time job on top of your
other
actual
full-time job.
Yes. Yeah. So I would definitely say that most of my business comes from word of mouth and social media. And so I definitely put a lot of effort into it. Now, Reels has been this whole new trend and wave that I was telling Alicia I won't even say I haven't mastered it. Like I haven't even tried it. So I sent my husband the podcast where you're talking about your husband helping you with your Reels. I just forwarded that right on to him. He's like, good with electronics and all that. And he's already my bookkeeper because he's great with numbers. So he's already my bookkeeper for my company. I'm like, hey, don't you want to take on like more responsibilities? Doesn't that sound fun? But no, I definitely have put a lot of effort into social media and have grown my following pretty significantly over the last 5 years. Paid close attention to social media for sure. And I know anyone out there who's listening who uses social media for their business probably already knows a lot of this, but being consistent obviously is huge. And I have a timer for 8:25 every night, which I'm not one who's paid a lot of attention to when the times are trending. That's probably never going to fit into my lifestyle. Like
the analytics of
the analytics. Now I watch the analytics of my numbers and like kind of what demographic I guess is kind of paying attention to my stuff. But the analytics of time is just never going to work for me. Like I could be with the alarm might go off at, you know, if 2:20 is best on a Tuesday, who knows where I'm going to be at 2:20 on a Tuesday? I'll probably be in Carline, but picking up my kids. But you get what I'm saying. It has been easier for me to just set the alarm at 8:25 every night. My kids, my neighbors and friends, they all know when the alarm goes off, it's like, oh, it's time to post. So I try to post multiple times a week, and social media has been huge in sending me business. One of my biggest jobs for this year, and just probably one of my jobs that have enjoyed most yet. She got me randomly from the algorithms of Instagram, where an account was like, you know how they suggest accounts to you?
Right.
Yeah. It was like I was just suggested to her. So, I mean,
that's awesome.
That's just amazing to me. I'm like, please, Instagram, keep the algorithms going that way. But some friends who've recently started, their own businesses and stuff have asked, like, how did I build my following? It's relatively quickly. And I think a huge part of it is doing giveaways and collaborations with other people, because if you can be posting at the same time as 7 other people and you're getting shout outs from 7, other personalities on Instagram, and they're all asking people to tag, and, it's just that whole strand is getting a lot of attention at one time. So
I think I've entered some of those giveaways and have never won. So
I think it would be a design build sell.
I enter those giveaways too, and I never win. Not mine, but like I just entered one recently for Charlie's, and I was like,
I win. I win random. I've won a Kubota cooler. I've won a one of those Shabimi.
The tent. You won the tent
with a golf cooler.
That's a nice win.
That's a good win.
I win completely useless random things. I've won USC fan on the field for the Florida game one time. Took my dad.
Wow, that's fun.
I won a shotgun one time. First thing I won.
You need to buy a lottery ticket. You're a
it
lucky person.
Oh, I do, and it doesn't work that way.
It just cuts off after random stuff. Yeah.
Alex is like, I never knew when you won the radio or the movie tickets on the radio that this would be quite a thing. I was like,
this really panned out for you.
Useless crap.
Yeah, I'm jealous.
I think that's how I found your social media, is from a giveaway. One of our friends posted something, and it was a whole bunch of cool stuff, and I was like, another designer, love that, local, love that.
That's awesome. I'm glad to know there's proof it does work. The giveaways are kind of exhausting.
Yeah.
So, but they're worth doing,
Yeah.
Have you tried to kind of gang up your content? Do you plan it? So you just, is it like 8:25? I got to do this.
It's definitely planned. I have a backlog of, I don't know, 50 to 100 pictures that are ready to go.
With the writing?
No, it does not always with the writing. I might, sit down on a Sunday and like do the writing for 3 of them, but a lot of times I have another thing I was going to say is I have specific hashtags that I've kind of paid attention to tailor it to, I guess, whatever,
to reach your market.
Yeah, to reach my market and to represent my style well. And so I do have those saved in my notes. So it's easy to just write out my caption and copy paste that. So, I mean, that makes it a little bit easier, but.
That's nice. I got to get better at Instagram. Like, I'm not very consistent
You're
all the
amazing.
time.
Your reels are so good. I've never even done a reel.
Well, thanks. I got to take advantage of like hashtags and like analytics. I'm very much like, I'm going to post this.
Right.
And I don't even think about what time it is.
It's interesting too, though, because reels are huge, and I haven't ever done one. I may have done one. I'm not sure. I did do the IGTV stuff there for a while when that was a thing. But my numbers have grown really quickly. It was like once I hit a certain number, it
Instagram loves
growing.
that stuff.
I know. And so I don't know. You never know what is actually there. They say reels are huge. I mean, are they? I'm not sure.
It's like, are they? I don't know.
Kind of want to start doing them just for the heck of it. But I did a series of house tours a couple years ago. Those were really fun, and that gained a lot of traction as well. I did one every month, so I picked out 12 people around Columbia who had different style houses and who had just really beautiful homes. And they were all gracious enough. Actually, a few of them weren't in Columbia, but they were all in South Carolina. They were all gracious enough to let me come in and tour their home, and that was really fun too. So just being really creative with social media and trying to, think of things that people are gonna want to watch.
Yeah,
it is unfortunate though. Like I was literally lying in bed last night, going, "I'm not going to post anything tomorrow," and this is so stupid. But I've put an effort to try to remain consistent, and And it's like now this little machine is controlling my life.
It is. It is crazy. And I don't know. It's interesting too, like if I'm in an artsy world, so I'm paying attention to like how your feed looks. And I mean, it's just a whole thing. It's just a whole thing, guys.
It is a whole thing. Got to keep the aesthetic.
Mike, you gave a teenager a Corvette and was just like, here, have fun.
That's what you are like?
Yeah. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, I don't either
no, you do.
The real
yeah, you know what you're doing.
Don't be playing that way. You know.
I know about half of the game. The other half is needs to be learned. So.
I feel like Instagram's a guessing game for everybody because it's always changing, and it's like, is this what we're supposed to be doing?
Right.
Oh,
it totally is.
I got like 30,000 views on a couple crazy reels.
Yeah.
Gone. It was like just a whisper. Like, what did I do wrong?
I know, it's like Instagram pushes your content at different times.
Right.
It's like, but what did I do different?
I know.
Well, I need that all the time. So you have, I don't even know what to call it, like the Cola Eclectic.
Yes.
Explain what that is.
So the Cola Eclectic it was a big event that 3 friends and I put together. It was the February right before everything shut down.
I think it was 2020.
Yes, in 2020, which feels like, I don't know, 10 years ago. But, and essentially what happened is I had this idea that, and my friends did too, this idea that you go in an antique store or a decor store or even like a pop-up, the holiday pop-ups with different vendors, and everything is sectioned off by vendor. So you might have lamps one place and art another place and some furniture a different place, but nothing is usually put together into an actual styled vignette. And the idea was, people are always saying, well, how would you arrange this? I mean, that's literally why they're hiring us, is to arrange things. And I thought, wow, how cool would it be if we got a lot of vendors involved, but didn't have them stay and didn't have them set up their stuff. Just drop off all your stuff to us, which is so kind of them to do and trusting. And we will style it into all these different vignettes. And then when people come, they can see either one piece of art that they'd like to buy or the whole look for their foyer.
They'll buy the whole thing.
Right.
Like, oh,
right. I finally get what I would do with the art, or I know where I would put that lamp. And so that was kind of the concept. I went into it with my friends, Jenny Patterson and Amy Long, that lives in y'all's neighborhood, and our other friend, Julia Cunningham, who's from Greenville. We all kind of had different roles in it. Jenny and I both love to shop and love to stage things, and really everyone in that group does.
I was saying, Amy likes to shop.
Amy loves to shop as well.
Okay.
We all kind of love to shop and stage things, and we do all love decor. But Amy, we had it at the River Center here, and Amy lives in this neighborhood, and so she's great with handling a lot of logistics and stuff. That's not my forte. And then Greenville had always had something, I won't say similar. It was a pop-up for art. And our friend Julia was from Greenville. And so she knew of tons of amazing artists that she brought a lot of their stuff here. And it inspired us to find all of our favorite artists from Columbia, too. It was great. We had over 40 vendors. We had hundreds of people that came. I couldn't believe how, again, social media,
great success.
Word spread. And it was a great success. And then the world shut down.
Yeah.
And so every year after that, we kind of got scared, to plan, and you put in effort, you put in money with inventory, and, it's just the last minute cancellations that people were having to do for the last couple years. Finally, I think we're good. And I do think in the spring we'll have another event.
I hope you do. I remember the last one y'all did, and I remember Amy talking about it was such a big undertaking.
It was a huge undertaking,
very successful and rewarding.
It was, and I feel like it was really cool because I'm just so appreciative to all the vendors that did trust us with their stuff, because it was a really, really unique way to unite all their styles and their aesthetics together and show you like how beautiful all of their things could be together. It was, I'd go back and look at the pictures all the time because it was like the ultimate shopping experience.
Such a great idea.
And it's something that like I've told, Alicia knows this about me. I say it all the time, but that's the perfect setup for somebody like me. I see something and I'm like, oh, I love this, but I don't know what else to pair it with. And so I'm the perfect demographic for that.
It's like having decorator for a day, because not only had we already styled everything, but also I was on the floor, and you know, the three other ladies I mentioned all have great senses of style, and they were all there. And so it was like having a decorator walk around with you and say, these are the ultimate pieces here. We had lacquered furniture, we had pillows and soft goods and art, and I mean, we had so many amazing things, and you just got to like put it all together.
Yeah. Would you guys ever consider like a brick and mortar store like that, or just...
I don't think so. We have talked about it, but we're just, none of us are at the season of life where we can make that a priority. But I think the event was really cool. And we'll definitely shoot to do that again in the spring. We are on Instagram. We're at the Cola Eclectic. It's a mouthful. Maybe didn't think that one through when we named it. So if you guys want to follow along there, we, because of the pandemic, had been and still have been doing just posts of vignettes, like on Like to Know It. So you can,
that's perfect.
Yeah. So you can still
shop the goods.
That's right. But it's more fun to do in real life. So yeah, y'all come see us in the spring.
I'm looking forward to that.
Of 2023. It'll probably be maybe late February of 2023.
Cool.
How big does a space need to be for that?
So how big is the River Center? I don't know if you're familiar with the River Center here.
You've been over the Chippewa? Yeah.
That's where we did.
That's where they had it.
That's where we did it.
Could it be done in like a house? If it was empty?
If it was empty, yeah.
Like a house we're building?
That's a thought. Yeah, it's funny you say that, because one of our friends from college is a builder in Atlanta, and he does the Atlanta show homes, I guess. And I'm like, man, that's kind of a really cool idea. Maybe we all need to talk when we leave here. But no, you don't. We don't have to do it there. You definitely could do it somewhere else. And I actually think it would be really fun to see it staged in a home.
Yeah.
But it's hard to come by like an empty home that someone just wants to let you in.
Yeah.
So
cool concept for sure.
It is
absolutely
cool. It was fun to do. So thanks.
So getting back to kind of your style and your social media and the clients that you have, you know, obviously, again, we've talked about your really cool, really bold style. Do any of your clients, have any of them given you ideas or said they want something that you feel is too bold? Is there anything too bold for you?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I'm going to say no, there's not, because from what I'm learning and seeing, and not even just learning, I guess, about myself, is that the more bold, the more I love it, which again is a little problematic because there is not a huge market for that. I mean, there is a market, but it's certainly not going to be as wide as, you know, for maybe other styles that other designers have. And in fact, the house I'm doing right now has been a lot of fun and has proven to me that like nothing's too bold. Almost sometimes when I think it's too bold, it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
So not necessarily has anyone presented something too bold, but I do feel like going colorful and going bold and going with, like you said, so many different patterns and textures and colors can get tacky if you're not careful. Sort of to redirect maybe some visions that clients have, or say like, I know that you love pink, but let's do it this way instead of that way. Or, you know, I love that you sent me this sequiny, which I'm not even going to rule out that I would ever do sequins on something, but love that you sent me this sequiny piece. Let's try the same color in this, you know, texture or something, or fabric. So,
I was going to wear my sequin shirt today.
So
I decided not to.
Maybe next time.
Maybe.
Yeah, I would love for someone to try to give me something that is too bold, because oftentimes it's the exact opposite. It's people bring me in when they do like what they're seeing on my feed and on my website, but it's a scary thing to buy, you know, to style a whole room in a bold way. And sort of feel locked in. You're not necessarily locked in, but to feel like, okay, I'm going to mess it up and I've put money into it. And also to feel like drawn to it, but don't feel like you can do it on your own. So a lot of times people want to go bold, but they're scared.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And then there are other people who like have respect for it, but it's not what they want to look at all the time. And I totally get that. My sister and I actually have totally opposite styles, and she wants like serenity and peace and, you know, sort of the not monochromatic, but a more monochromatic palette. And I decorated for her last year, and I joked, I'm like, you're so hard to decorate for, but at least I can say that to your face and like, you know, have fun with it in that way. And it was fun, and we did some cool stuff at her house too. So, but yeah, it takes, I guess, time and effort to really think about how to mix all of that together in a way that doesn't get tacky.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like people are affected by their atmospheres.
Very much so.
So that's one of the things I love about my job is like how it makes people feel when they're in their home.
Absolutely.
So it's like someone's personality, like, I want bold, I want it to be fun, it like lifts me up. I can see them getting an energy from their home. Versus like what your sister said, like having that serene feeling.
That's exactly right.
So just personality type, right?
Definitely personality type. And just personal style, and like you said, what gives you energy, you know, or gives you peace. Maybe, you know, for me, being in a place filled with a lot of color and I guess interest, does give me peace. So it's totally about personality. Yeah.
What's your typical project split? So if you have, you know, are you brought in to look at a room, a whole house? Are you doing some new construction, remodeling? Kind of take us through what you seem to focus on and specialize in.
Right. So I tend to focus on soft finishes and true like decorating, I guess you could say, as opposed to more of the design and new construction renovation. I do love that, and I would like to get more into that, but that hasn't been the bulk of my experience thus far. Thus far, it's definitely been in like what has been finished as, you know, new construction, and then I come in and do the soft finishes. And then also too, just houses where they haven't maybe changed anything in 10 years and they want you to come in and give the house some new life. And a lot of times it is just one room at a time. I'm doing multiple, I just finished a whole house project in Pawleys Island, which was really fun. And I'm doing a whole house project right now in Pinehurst, North Carolina. But normally it is like one or two rooms because, you know,
cost.
The average person is just not going to be furnishing an entire house at one time. And even with new construction, it's somewhat rare that when they pay all that money, you know, for that beautiful home,
they've got it left over for furniture.
For furniture. I
That's
get your scraps, RV.
The landscaper always says that. He goes, I got the worst job. I got to come in after y'all used up all the money.
I know. Yeah. But it is, the sad thing is that it's easy, you know, it's easy for me to say because I'm not the one spending the money, but it bugs me when it's like a really, really high end, nice home and someone brings in all their old furniture. And most of the time people do that with a plan to update everything as they go, of course. But sometimes people don't. And it's like, you just spent all this money on this beautiful home, like, and you didn't do it by yourself. You used experts to do that and help you with that and choose those finishes. So how about pick an expert to like take you to the finish line?
I take photos of homes before people move in them. For a number of reasons. Sometimes it's hard to just a hassle. You don't want to intrude. Right. But you never know. And sometimes it's like, wow, that's awesome. It looks great.
Right.
But they just built a house. They maybe need to get settled, you know.
Right.
It's not an ideal world where you can come in and just do everything you want all the time.
No, definitely. And even with a house we're working on right now, it was new construction. It's gorgeous, but just finished. And so now I'm going to come in and do my thing. Well, I've been planning it for, 4 months, but it's going to take another, probably 4 to 6 months before it's actually finished. So even when you have someone on deck to move you in style, it doesn't happen right away.
Yeah, it's a process.
Yeah.
I like
no
how-
I have
HGTV.
definitely learned that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
For sure.
Alicia referenced, I think, light fixtures, and I think you do this with our clients. Let's focus on quality, you know, and then if you want to switch out some other places that aren't high impact, you can do that later, or maybe just do recessed lights there if you're not ready to commit on a fixture.
100%.
I think that was a great take.
Yeah. Lighting is huge.
Yeah.
I mean,
It makes
the biggest difference.
Yes.
Yeah. It's huge. I feel like, you know, lighting is like the earrings of the outfit. Like it really sets a tone for the room.
absolutely.
One of the main things really that does set a tone for the room. And I think you're exactly right. You need to pick, like, you know, the big places where you can do bigger fixtures that make an impact. And if you're not wanting to do, you know, go high end at the moment, you know, in your, you know, bathroom or your guest bath or your kid's bath or whatever, where people aren't
That's
necessarily
always
gonna
where
see.
we say.
Right. But try to go big with your entry and your dining room and
absolutely.
places where, you know, over your island, places where people are really gonna
Yeah.
see when they walk in your house.
So when you do a project, let's say I saw on your Instagram a blue bar makeover, you know, and it was involved. Will you gather the subcontractors and stuff to do that kind of work and the painting and whatever's involved?
It kind of just depends on what they hire me to do. I have, you know, different proposals or different packages, and of course everyone has a different budget. So we have eDesign, where I may literally be sending them links for like a paint color, a light, a backsplash, and a visual for what that will look like. And then you never talk to me again, or like you don't talk to me until it's done.
I have that package as well.
Yes, exactly. So, and it's funny with that package, I've gotten so many beautiful outcomes from that, from people that are really motivated. You have to be pretty self-motivated
Yes.
for that package. And then there are people who, you know, maybe want you to tile shop with them and kind of do some of that, the ordering and sending it to them, but they can line up their subcontractors. And then there are people where the budget is and maybe their time doesn't allow for them to do it. So it's, please come in and line this up and like just come,
Do it
I'll
all.
come home and yeah. And that's really fun too. There's nothing wrong with a client liking to be super involved, but the trusting clients who are kind of like, here, just like get it done, and
They hired you for a reason.
Right. And
like
and
there's got to be a fine line
not
of
surprise me, but
trust there.
Yeah.
Right?
That's always a fun moment for sure. What's too bold? Just some tips for like how to balance that bold look is to bring in just the bold look of a home in general. Is I think bringing in some of those antique pieces, or at least some pieces that are traditional or timeless in a sense, and mixing styles is key to it not going out of style quickly. Because if everything's one exact specific style, well, that trend might be out in 3 years. And if you love it, that's not going to matter. Like, you just need to really, really love it. But in mixing some styles, so, you know, maybe modern with traditional and glam with more toned down, helps it to not get old as quickly.
So looking at this from a real estate agent's perspective, and you mentioning that a lot of your clients might be in more of this, you know, niche market. Do you ever have clients who ask you, are concerned about, you know, styling for resale? Because in the real estate world, we get a lot of design articles, and real estate articles push us that talk about everything being neutral and minimalist. So how do you balance that if someone asks you about resale?
So that is very important that you brought that up, and is key. I absolutely ask people, and sometimes you just know if it's a new build, then they're probably not going to move. But if it's, you know, a house that hasn't been decorated in 10 years and they want you to come in and they want this or that, I always do ask, you know, what's your timeline like? Is this your forever home? Do you plan on selling anytime soon? And I would highly discourage them, or I would discourage them from going with, you know, a green room, if they're moving soon. Now, it's like most of what we would do could go with you, but the bigger thing is for resale. And it's like you just said, most realtors, I mean, even if you're like, no, I'm fine with it, I'm going to sell it just like this, your realtor's not going to let you sell it just like this. They're going to come in and they're going to do their job, because it makes a lot of sense that you want to
appeal to the masses.
Exactly.
That's literally what I was about to say.
Exactly.
That's the
and
phrase.
It makes a lot of sense. So I will definitely ask that. And for example, if they say, well, yeah, we are kind of toying with, maybe putting it on the market in the next 2 years, then I love white paint. I know y'all talked about this recently, but white paint is I do love to go bold, and that is my natural inclination. But a lot of the base layers in my own home are white because you can put anything with it, and you can go nuts. I mean, if you want lots of colorful art, you can do that. And so if they're saying I probably want to move in 2 years, then we might bring in color with art and with rugs and pillows, and maybe stay more neutral with the walls and the bigger pieces of furniture.
That's how my brain works with color. Like, I like color, but more like these colors.
Right.
But I always go like neutral on the hard finishes, and it's like with decor, rugs, pillows.
Right.
Let's add some spice in there because that could be changed out.
Right. And I often I don't always have clients that just want to go all in on color. That's where I get most excited, but that's not going to be the majority even of my market or of my business usually. So, I mean, I often say, let's do, white walls, and we'll get crazy with some other things. And that way, if you want to swap out your pillows in 3 years, or change your art out, then knock yourself out.
I think Amy's house that you did is a perfect example of that, because she has like a very like traditional South Carolina style home, but she has like the fun animal print and some colors that you threw in there.
Yes,
and
definitely.
it's just like that makes you set
curtains, all of that,
the traditional with
and
that boldness.
Hers is a great example too, because it's an open concept, and I'm trying to think of a moment where I would paint like that huge open room that is kitchen, dining, and living all a dark color.
Right.
I probably wouldn't do that. My color lies in sort of specific areas of the house that are going to kind of be a moment.
So what are your favorite kind of design projects to do?
Yeah, so this is going to be kind of an obvious answer, but I like it when the budget is doable. When the budget is like realistic, and people are handing you Pinterest pictures, and if the budget's too small, it's like you're never going to be able to achieve that. So something with a decent sized budget, and a good base layer to a house helps.
Right.
It's hard to come in and update one room when you can't even really envision the style of the rest of the house, because
that makes sense.
Yeah, if someone's asking maybe to do multiple rooms, and then you can kind of re-envision it for them. But it helps if there's a good base layer. And then also it helps when the person has my style.
Right.
Yes. So, I mean, like you and I said, we can do a lot of things.
Yeah.
But it's so much more fun for me, because you're asking what's my favorite. I mean, it's just so much more fun when I don't have to feel self-conscious of like, is she going to like this?
This is my take on that. Yeah.
Yes. I was just doing a room for someone, and I put the color out there for the room, and she was like, yes, I love it. And I'm like, do you love it? Because I don't know, like, this is bold. Like, I need to really know you're all in before we paint the whole room this color. And it ended up great. She loved it. I loved it. But it was outside of her comfort zone, which is great, because it lets people have a lot of fun. But when I'm walking into our styles just match perfectly, it's like, I'm not going to have to worry a lot while I do this.
I totally get that.
Yes. You know what I'm saying on that?
It's like you don't have to convince somebody that, trust me, this is going to look good. And they're like, I don't 100%
know. 100% that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. The house that we're doing right now in Pinehurst, and we're doing pretty much the whole of it. It's a really, really beautiful custom home, but she has my exact style. And so it's been so fun because, she even came to me and was like, hey, I want to paint the kids' room orange, like an Hermes orange. And I was like, what? I mean, I was the one who was like, are we sure? And then we did. And it's really cool and it looks awesome. Yeah. But it's been so fun because, everything that either one of us comes up with, the other is just like, yes, this is going to be amazing.
Yeah. Haven't you noticed when you work with clients like that, like I tend to be more creative and like produce my best work
100%,
because it's like you are allowing me to do my job.
Yes. You hit the nail on the head with that, because other styles don't come as naturally to you, so you're not as creative. I mean, you might do an okay job, but it's not going to be as natural and easy and fun. So it makes budget's great, base is great, but when someone has my very similar to my style, it just makes a huge difference.
Absolutely.
So speaking of your style, do you have a favorite color or pattern or something? Like, I would love to know what your favorite style is.
So my favorite color is chartreuse, which for the listeners out there that are like, the listeners out there that are like, what's that weirdo color?
Lure.
Oh, God.
That's what it is.
It is like a yellowy green. And
like
apparently kind of like this pencil, yes. And apparently really hard to come by. We've been getting samples for some curtains that I wanted to do in chartreuse, and it's like everything was slightly off from what I had envisioned. But I love the color chartreuse. I love animal print, any kind of animal print, which I know some people feel like maybe is in or out of style, but I actually think it's usually can be just a great neutral.
I agree that it's a good neutral.
Yeah, it's just kind of a pop of fun, anywhere. I've been using a lot of green these days, like done multiple bars in green, and I
like me some green.
Yeah, I heard you say that in one of your in your podcasts, and y'all are sitting on a beautiful green sofa.
Yep.
Yeah, it's I feel like in the South, it's like everyone gravitates towards blue. There are the blues with the coastal vibe, and then there's also like the navy and the chinoiserie style as well. And I do love those, and I think bless you. I think that those can look really good, but I've been gravitating towards green because I think it's a little bit outside of the box. So, and then pink. I love pink and put a little pop of it anywhere that I can. And then gold too. Yeah. I struggle when a client tells me that there can be no gold. I struggle a little bit.
I feel like I put gold everywhere. Not everywhere, but I love to incorporate it.
I do too. It's a go-to. It's, to me, sort of a neutral. It's definitely, y'all were talking about on the trends, I think, episode that you guys did, that it is somewhat timeless. Sure, it kind of gets done in different ways that update it a little bit, but oh man, yeah, I have clients that tell me just no gold or my husband hates gold.
You're like, what else is there?
You're like, but does he? Oh. Like, let's just try it.
I mean, I literally have to go and sort of browse. I have to like recalibrate and go browse and say, okay, I know that there are a lot of designs out there that I've liked and even loved that didn't have it in that, but let me go find them because I can't even visualize what that's going to be.
On the other side, is there any style or pattern that you feel like is going out right now? Like, since, we've talked about
came up also on y'all's trends episode, but gray was like all the rage for a while. And I definitely feel like it's not as popular. Farmhouse, that would probably be actually my number one answer would be farmhouse. In a true sense of the word.
Right.
There are a lot of very modernized versions of that are super in, and that like Shea, Studio McGee type feel, if anyone out there knows what the heck I'm talking about.
That's like my inspo designer that I love.
I love her stuff, and I love to watch her show. But yeah, true farmhouse, I kind of feel like that, with
I agree,
the signs that have a lot of like
the rustic,
the writing and the rustic and all that on it.
The eat sign,
love, pray. Joy is
welcome
here.
to our farmhouse.
And when I said that about the gray, I mean gray, I would still use that. I
still
just
see
think
it all
like
over,
a full blown gray was all the craze.
Every room was white. Repose gray.
Yes, exactly.
Hey, I'm using that color.
And Revere
Repose
pewter.
it's a good
that was in my old house, and I love it.
Yeah.
But
blends
I'm just saying, like, that's
it's a
what
great
I see.
go-to.
I see everyone,
Yep.
you know.
Yeah. Well, it was a very popular trend, and white is a little more popular now.
I got we didn't do a ton of them, and there was like one really good looking house. It was gray. It was just the right, but it was gauntlet gray. It was kind of it stood
darker.
out.
Right.
But a lot of builders were doing this like primer gray exterior, and I was like, this is just so terrible next to white. I mean, it just looked plasticky.
Right.
And then blue houses on the exterior too were very popular, and blue is a hard color to get right.
Right.
Yeah.
It is. It can be a little, if you get the wrong shade, it can be too playful and not sophisticated, I think. Like too
Absolutely.
baby's nursery kind of.
Yeah.
I've seen Smurf blue. One time the homeowner did it, and we were like, I don't like this. But he got to walk a line, but they walked in, they were like, we don't like this. I was like, good. It was really, really bad. It was like bubblegum blue.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But like a moody dark gray, I do love.
Yeah.
And this is super random, but I so enjoyed y'all's trends episode, and I was listening. I was like shouting out in the car when you said trick question. What is the one metal that is sort of always timeless? And I was like, polished nickel. And then everybody, of course, said that. But I say I rely on gold, but I do love polished nickel in a kitchen or a bathroom. It's just really timeless.
Yeah.
It really, I think, it's my number one.
It sounds like a Dwight question. What metal is best? Polished nickel.
Polished nickel.
Oh gosh,
That is an Office reference for anyone who doesn't watch.
Surely
Office.
90% of people out there.
I would hope so. I would hope so.
If
you never
they
know.
didn't, then they need to treat themselves to some binge watching.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Really, one of my very favorite things to pick out is lighting.
Yeah.
And I struggle if anyone says that they can't change their lighting, because it really sets the tone for the room. Yeah, it really does. That and like a bulky, oversized old school sofa. I cannot work around your main piece in the room that is really dated. Like it's setting, it sets the tone
I know.
for the room.
I know. I've had clients that are like, everything new but this dark brown leather sectional
That's
that
puffy.
reclines
And reclines
and has all the
Has the cup holders.
And I was just
That's
like,
the key.
Yes, and I'm like, that is perfect for your man cave or media room.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to accomplish much with it here. Yeah. So
oh, that's funny. We're on the same page with that.
yes.
Sure. Sorry if you have that sofa.
I know, we're so
RB's
sorry
like, great,
if
now
you
y'all
do.
can't come over.
No, I have a white sofa that's ruined by children and
Yeah, I was
gonna say,
dogs
you're-
and me.
Yeah.
No.
Brave.
Mostly me. It doesn't have a cup holder, and I like put the wine under my leg, kind of like hold it sometime.
You're brave.
Under your leg.
Like I just kind of like tuck it there.
Oh,
no,
like
I'm
brim.
stupid. I'm not brave. I'm stupid. And
I take it a
My-
few mistakes have happened.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't even realize I'm doing it, but I'll sit there and
Yeah.
Wife does not like
You're blaming
that
the
one.
dogs and the children, but really it's just you and your wine.
The child is precious. The child
Oh
is not
no,
the
I can't
problem.
blame him for anything. He's awesome.
He's the cutest.
He is. So it's been a really good show.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. This
Thank
has been
you.
so fun.
It's been a blast.
It definitely is outside of my norm of interaction with designers and decorators, and getting to hear a different perspective. And you've accomplished a lot for a person who switched careers, went out on their own. What's next for you in Aston Moody Interiors?
Well, thank you for those compliments, first of all. It has been a quick growth, I guess, over 5 years. I mean, it's like you said, it looks quick, but a lot of hard work went into it. But I think one of the things that's hard with owning your own business and also being in the creative mindset is that the business side of things doesn't necessarily come super easily for me, or isn't, my first thing that I think about, or that I'm the main thing I'm talented with. So, I'm sure all of y'all have felt this. You've all been extremely successful and have, grown rapidly as well. And it's like when you do, it's hard to find the time to step back and take a minute and really think about really, really intentional processes and business practices and stuff like that. So what's next for me might not sound super flashy, but really it's just trying to get some of those behind the scene things nailed down. I have taken a couple of classes, and I haven't mentioned her yet today. I don't know how I've gotten this far without mentioning my amazing assistant that I could not do life without. Her name is Caitlin, and she deals with all the vendors and trade accounts and ordering and all that. But just for the two of us to work together to try to, figure out how to be more efficient at what we do. I think that's kind of what is next for us, and just hopefully continuing, this is something that I would love y'all's feedback or other people's feedback on, but I entered this industry and I'm so grateful for it, doing some free work for friends, and then you slowly kind of, your scope creep and your capability creeps up, I guess. And with that, I have felt a little bit like a sellout of not being as affordable as I used to be. But what I've realized is that to do the things I find most rewarding and most fun, there does have to be a specific base level budget there.
Yeah.
And so I guess the goal would be just to continue to find some, amazing and fun projects that allow me to be as creative as I can.
Yeah. They're out there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Come find me.
Yeah.
No, they are. And I'm so grateful that I have worked with so many amazing people and homes and families. And it's like you said, it's so rewarding to be able to help someone love their home, and be able to help someone. I think we probably all feel that way. You help someone find it, you help someone love it, and you help someone build it. And so it's just great. This is where we spend a lot of our time and build our dreams with the people we love. And so, I think it should really reflect people's personalities and just bring them a lot of joy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Love it.
So where can people find you if they want to learn more about you?
Yeah, they can find me on Instagram at Aston Moody Interiors. I also have a website that's astonmoodyinteriors.com. And I am on Facebook, but I don't really ever check it. So I'm so sorry if you've commented on something and I haven't said anything back to you. Find me on one of those other two places. I do like to post my pictures there because a lot of people only have Facebook. So yeah. I think that's all of where I am. And now I'm on this podcast with you guys.
That's right.
Welcome.
Well, thank you so much. And if y'all are enjoying this podcast, we'd really ask for a big favor for you to go onto Apple iTunes and give us a rating and a review. It really does mean a lot to us and help us grow. You can find us on designbuildsellpod.com or designbuildsellpodcast on Instagram. And until next time, we'll see you later.
See ya.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.